I'm going to finish the arms off before I move on to anything else. These need scooping out more, which I knew they would. This needs more taking off so that when it closes up, that should fit into there nice and snugly. I also need to do some of the grooves here for the pins so they twist, and I'll need to cut this slot, but I want to do that last because I won't be able to get it in the vise. This is going to be a bit awkward because I've cut the end off because it had one of those on, so I could get it in the vise, but obviously when I put that in, that had to come off, so I'll use that in the vise and hold it in there whilst I scoop this out. So I need to take a lot off here down to this line there, so it's full thickness at the back, and then gradually comes round thinner and thinner. Probably take a bit more off there, take some more off here. I have the groove put in on the wrists, so that can go in now, and the pin. That groove's slightly off, so that when I drive the pin it'll pull it in. So that now needs pinning onto there. I'm using the same jig that I used for the elbow joint to cut the slot. The thing is that this one is a lot bigger, so I've jacked it up by ½ inch with 3 pieces of plywood. But the only problem is this only cuts about 3 inches deep. This is about 4 inches to the top, so it's not going to cut all the way through. So what I might try, might not be too good an idea, is whilst I'm cutting it I can lift this up and cut further round. So there's my centre line, which I should cut to that, but because it doesn't have a shoulder like that, I'm going to have to cut further down to give me a little bit more support, because there'll be a square edge on there, or it'll be just tapering up to nothing. that worked surprisingly well. I'm pleased with that. Both down to 1/2 inch. Just a tad over, that's fine. I'm happy with that. Nice and straight, parallel. I'm cutting the outside one down 1/2 inch below the centre line to give me that shoulder that I need, or it just ends up paper thin at the top, which should give me about 1/8 inch. Originally I was going to face this off in one go rather than do it like that. I was going to put it in these jaws, but what happened is when I timed it up, it pushed it away slightly. I think there's just a little bit of play in it, and it pushed it away so it wouldn't run true, so I had to do it this way instead. So next I need to turn this down to size and put a slight curve on it so it fits this ball. So I need to get that to fit that. So this one's fitting really well, except that side. I haven't taken enough out. Even if you measure it, you can tell it's too tight there. So I need to put that back in the jig and just carve this round till it meets that ring in the middle. The other one is not so good because it's a bit short at the top. So I made that too long. The outside's the right size and it's centred. I did measure that several times before I committed to drilling the hole. So it still needs some taken off here, not as much, but a bit more off the top. So that's going to have to be carved. I can't put it back in the lathe because I haven't got my centre anymore. So I'll have to do that by hand. As long as it's close enough. There's a little bit of a step there, but it doesn't matter, it's fine. So that just needs a little bit more work. But I do need to make the spigot that comes out of here. Right, these are now trimmed down to size, and I've glued the spigot in. That just needs trimming down to 1 inch. It's still oversized at the moment, but it is nice and tight. A lot of friction there. Unfortunately, that hasn't got as much on this one, so it does drop a little bit. I will need to change the pin, that might help. I could put a very thin washer, leather washer in the top, but at worst comes to worst, I'll just make another one of those, make it as tight as this top one. But that is almost done now, so I'll just turn this down. I won't be able to put the groove in until I make the body and know where that groove goes.